Hello, this is the Bible in Fewer Words. We are Carol and Steve Wells. This is episode 48, Leviticus, chapter 15. Hi, Steve.
Hey, Carol.
We're only doing one chapter today.
I know. There's a lot of stuff in Leviticus that you just can't pass over.
Passover? And what are we talking about today?
Yeah, there's quite a bit in this chapter. And a lot of this is sort of hard to say, but
I'll say it.
Okay.
Can I?
Sure.
The subheading we have for today is Penile discharge, semen, and menstruation. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, embarrassing stuff. Huh?
I know.
This is stuff we wouldn't talk about unless we had to.
In polite company.
But God is talking about it here. And so we're going to say what God said.
All right.
Because this is all just God talking to Moses, laying down the law on these topics.
Because we don't want to say their names again.
No, we don't.
God said to Moses, "When a man has a running issue out of his flesh, he is unclean." Okay, he doesn't say penile discharge there.
No, but I think that's what it's talking about. I think the running issue would be some type of infection that's causing that
Stuff to come out of his penis.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
They wouldn't ordinarily come out. So we're not talking about the usual things that come out of penises, but something that comes out after an infection or during an infection.
Do we want to explore that more?
No.
So, an infection. How about smegma?
Oh, no. Okay. So
we're not saying that word.
I don't know. I guess you did.
I did.
Yeah. Okay, I don't know about that. I think I know what you're talking about, but I don't know about that.
All right. Our listeners can look that up if they want.
We did look that up, though, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
And the thing about it is that the Jews aren't going to have to worry about it as much. Right?
And why not?
Because they're circumcised.
Oh, this only happens to uncircumcised people.
Well, that's the way I picture it.
Okay.
So it's stuff that kind of gets trapped under the foreskin, and the foreskin's been removed, so it's not a problem. But they can still get infections that would have these discharges, the running issues.
Okay.
That's what God's talking about here. I think not probably. Maybe the how do you say that?
Smegma.
Okay, yeah, maybe that too.
But it's kind of interesting to know exactly what it is. Like dead skin and oil. It's like they mix up together and they kind of make this white stuff.
It's not interesting, and it's not important, and we shouldn't be discussing it here.
All right, we're moving on.
Okay, verse
4.
Okay, every bed that he lies on and everything he sits on is unclean.
So this is the man with the running issue.
Yeah.
Out of his flesh.
Right. He's going to get things dirty wherever he goes.
Okay. And notice how he says out of his flesh. Like, it's like the part of the body that will remain unnamed.
Yes, that's right. We all know what he's talking about.
Yes, we do. Whoever touches his bed must wash himself and his clothes with water and be unclean until the evening. That's just the right time of day to all of a sudden turn clean.
It is an interesting thing, isn't it? It just, I wonder how many times that phrase is used in Leviticus. I'll bet it's maybe 50 times.
Yeah, well, we're going to say it 4 or 5 here.
Yeah. Whoever sits on anything that he sat on must wash himself and his clothes with water and be unclean until the evening.
Whoever touches him must wash himself and his clothes with water and be unclean until when?
Yeah, the evening. If the man with the running issue spits on a man, the man who's spit upon must wash himself and his clothes with water and be unclean until the evening. I wonder how often that happened.
That
a guy with a running issue would spit on somebody. Anyway, it's important to God. I guess it must have happened, and so he's made a commandment about it.
Okay, we're talking about spitting out of his mouth.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I'm going to move on now. The saddle that the man with the issue rode upon is also unclean. Well, you're expecting he's wearing pants or a robe or something.
No, it's unclean, no matter what. If the saddle that he rode on is unclean. Any clay vessel that the man with the issue has touched must be broken, and every wooden vessel must be washed.
Okay, again with the clay vessels that seem like they would take
They're
a
not
lot
gonna
of
they're not
energy.
gonna last very long, I don't think.
No, they aren't. When the man with the issue is cleaned of his issue, he must wait 7 days, wash his clothes, and take a bath in running water. Then he'll be clean. We don't know what time of day he'll be clean.
No. On the 8th day, he must bring 2 doves or pigeons to the priest, who will offer one as a sin offering and the other as a burnt offering in front of God for his issue.
Note here that there's a sin that has gone on here somewhere.
Yeah, probably.
And a burnt offering is just because the Lord likes a sweet savor.
Yeah,
Yes.
That's right. Okay, so we're done with that.
Aw,
Yeah.
really?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
If a man's seed of copulation goes out from him, he shall wash all his flesh in water and be unclean until the evening.
Okay, but this is kind of exciting conversation as well. If the man's seed of copulation. Okay, that's semen, right? We're using 3 words there where one suffices.
Yeah, kind of a euphemism for semen, I think.
And so we're talking about goes out of him and falls on the ground?
Oh, if it just goes out of him.
Oh, anytime it goes out of him.
Yeah. Although I think it's talking about times when it goes out of him when he's not, it's not the usual times or the intended times. It's not what God had in mind.
Okay.
So anything outside of intercourse.
Yes.
Anything
outside of intercourse is not okay.
Yeah.
And that's a sin, and he's
You've got
probably
to
going to
keep it in any time except for when during intercourse, I guess.
Okay. With a woman.
With a woman, yeah. And I guess that you're married to.
Yes.
Maybe. I don't know.
He just walked into a tent.
It doesn't really say. It just says that goes out from him. But I think he's not talking about just regular sexual intercourse. I think he's probably talking more about masturbation.
Oh, yes. I made you say a word.
Yeah, I didn't want to say that word.
This is verse 17. Every garment or skin that has the seed of copulation on it must be washed with water and is unclean until the evening.
The next one is confusing, though, because we've been talking about it not being with intercourse, involving intercourse, but verse 18 says, if a woman gets any seed of copulation on her, she is unclean. She and the man must wash themselves in water and be unclean until the evening. So I guess maybe this does include just regular old-fashioned intercourse as well.
I'm thinking that maybe, he pulled out.
Oh, no. If he did that, we'd have to kill him, right? Like Onan did?
Yes,
right.
I think so.
Yeah, or God would kill him.
Okay, well, we're done talking about males' body parts.
Yeah, now we're going to deal with women.
Yes. Menstruating women are unclean and must be secluded for 7 days. I mean, just any time. I thought just women were just unclean all the time. But no, only menstruating women. Whoever touches them is unclean until the evening.
Everything that she sits upon is also unclean. Anyone who touches her bed must wash his clothes, take a bath, and be unclean until the evening.
Anyone who touches anything that she has sat upon must wash his clothes, take a bath, and be unclean until the evening.
If a man has sex with a menstruating woman, he is unclean for 7 days, and the bed that they had sex on is unclean.
There's a lot of uncleanness going on here.
Back in verse 22, the thing about touch anything that she sat upon. Anything she sits on is unclean. There was a guy, I think his last name was Jacobs, who did a book about trying to follow all of the laws of the Old Testament. He was a Jewish guy. And one of the things that he would do is he would carry a chair around with him. A chair that he knew that no menstruating woman had sat on. So he could bring that to meetings or whatever, and he'd have a place to sit down. Otherwise, you just don't know.
You don't know.
That's right.
It's really scary. If a woman has an issue of blood outside of her regular period, she is unclean. Yeah, that usually happens after childbirth, which we've already decided she is unclean there because she has 66 days of
Well, depending.
uncleanliness. If
Right.
she has a baby girl, if she has a baby boy, it's 33 days. 26?
Every bed that she lies on and everything she sits on is unclean. Whoever touches anything that she has touched is also unclean and must wash his clothes, take a bath, and be unclean until the evening.
Okay, I am thinking, have we said this enough now?
Well, we've got a couple more time, at least one more time here.
Oh, whoever touches anything that she has touched is also unclean. And must wash his clothes, take a bath, and be unclean until evening.
If she is cleansed of her issue, she is unclean for 7 more days. After that, she's clean.
Amazing that she can be clean. On the 8th day, she must bring 2 pigeons or doves to a priest, who will offer one as a sin offering and one as a burnt offering in front of God for her uncleanness. So a sin offering because she had a period which God devised in his grand scheme of how we should have babies.
Yes.
I guess he was thinking he wanted sin offerings offered to him. And the last verse.
This is the law of a man that has an issue, or who is defiled by the seed that comes out of him, and of women who are sick of her flowers, and a man who lies with her.
Sick of her flowers. Her flowers.
Flowers. Yeah.
When I was young, we used to call it, Grandma or Aunt Flo, or, in public, so people wouldn't know, hey, I'm having my period. I can't go swimming right now.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Well,
We got
ladies
through it.
and gentlemen, Steve is still standing, and he got through it. We learned a lot today, and hopefully we'll learn a lot again next time.
Oh, I'm sure we will.
Thanks for listening.
Bye-bye.
Bye.